In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto.
Question everything.
Trust nothing.
It's your boys, Keeper and Crusader, and we have a special guest on this evening for our What If Wednesday. We got your boy, Crypto Glenn. Glenn, how you doing this evening, brother?
Doing great, man. How y'all doing tonight?
Dude, we are excited to have you on. For those of you that don't follow Crypto Glenn, Glenn and I have become friends over, you already know, TikTok. If you have the TikTok app, make sure to check out Crypto Glenn over there. He's always bringing that alpha. Y'all are going to find out tonight. This man's got some head on his shoulders, so I'm super excited to talk about what's going on.
About to bring some heat, dog.
Let's do it. So, Crypto fam, listen, if you are not involved in, as always, we're talking about a Danger Close Alpha. If you are not involved in the 5 ETH competition, figure it out. Basically, $5 to get involved in what ultimately is going to be somebody winning 5 ETH. Now, 5 ETH today might look a little different in US dollars than it did yesterday, but remember, as you are in the crypto space longer and longer, you will realize one thing. 1 ETH is 1 ETH is 1 ETH. And long term, that's really the mindset that needs to be there. So let's kick it off before we dive into what's actually happening. Let's take a look at the red wave that is the crypto markets right now.
I thought you were talking about the red wave from the option. I was going to say, hey.
Yeah, well, you know what? It wasn't quite as red as anticipated, but it's still waiting on some surprise. Miguel, you called it. We're still waiting.
Waiting, dude. Keep waiting.
Some counts. So we'll see what's going on with that. Let me update this real quick. We know what color it's going to be, though. Wow. The global crypto market cap, $808.52 billion with a B dollars, down 12.45%. And that's actually on the uptick. We have got Bitcoin, 16,119, down almost 13%. ETH at 1128. You already know the story. Everything is getting absolutely slammed. You know what? One of the things I noticed was, and it just flipped back again, but earlier today, my nemesis, Shiba, flipped Solana. 2 trash projects.
Well, hold on. The reality is more like Solana face planted and landed below Shiba because that thing's been doing nothing but dumping.
She's been falling off a cliff for a long time. Oh, yeah. And did y'all hear it had a crash 2 days ago?
What? Solana had another crash?
Solana had another crash.
Dude, Solana is like the ice cream machine of McDonald's for the crypto space.
It's always
the thing
down.
is always down. It's always broken. It's never available.
It's never working.
That's a really good point. So, Miguel, a little birdie told me, for those of you that have been following for a little while, you have seen Miguelito está usando las líneas. He's been writing some lines on some charts, and a little birdie told me that maybe those lines have done something. Can you bring that up and show the people?
I'm telling you, man.
Show the people the lines.
Shout out to leading crypto CVO and Magic out there. But I drew this squiggle on here a long time ago. If you've been watching, every time I've shared my screen, this squiggle's just been sitting there, right? It's been sitting there. This is on the weekly right now. It's been sitting here for weeks. And it did exactly as I predicted, right? We went all the way up above the regression trend. We broke out of it, and then we got rejected, and we broke support, and now we're heading to that 13,800, right? This is the next support line, and we could head lower below that, right? That's not the bottom. Like we keep going there. I left some suspense out here. By the time we get here, I'll draw some more squiggles, see where it goes by that time. But 13.8 is definitely on the table.
The truth is definitely in the squiggles.
That would definitely be some pain, I got to tell you, especially newer people in the markets that are, feeling this pain today. I already know what it is, right?
Yeah. You
look at your portfolio, and you've looked at it yesterday, and you've looked at it 2 days ago. It's significantly different, and I know what that feels like. Trust me, I really. As you continue to be in the markets longer, the small movements in the market make a large difference in your portfolio. So the large movements are like, whoa, but it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. So, Glenn, talk us through, first of all, what the heck happened? Because there's a lot of people that maybe understand, they could tell you, oh, FTX this, Sam Bankman-Fried that, Binance this, but what actually happened?
So let me give you a timeline of events, or let me just kind of give you an overview of what happened.
Yeah.
A lot of this fallout started to happen back when 3 Earths Capital, when Celsius, when a lot of these other like borrowing lending platforms started going through the turmoil that they went through. The problem is, I'm going to give you like a 30,000 foot view of this. The problem is when you run crypto like you run the traditional financial world, it's eventually going to die the same death. The problem is the traditional financial world has way more money than we have here in crypto. Now, I know a lot of people think that, the market cap of crypto is big and it's huge, but when you look at what the legacy institutions have, that whole entire market cap, it dwarfs ours, and rightfully so. It's been around longer, more people playing it, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
When you started having all of this cross collateralization and all these companies started getting into trouble because it turned out that no one was really holding the bag. No one had the values that they allegedly, supposedly had. And now that chicken has come home to roost with FTX. FTX, a lot of people thought was going to be the saving grace with Voyager. Turns out that's not the case because of the situation that happened yesterday. Sam Bankman-Fried is not the crypto darling he was 36 hours ago. And the problem with that is because a lot of the same principles that got Three Arrows Capital into trouble, Celsius into trouble, is the same situation that Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX is having. Let me explain. When Sam Bankman-Fried went to a lot of these, call them LP partners, right? The people who basically give crypto platforms money, he gave them FTX token. Here's the issue with that. They created FTX token and they use FTX token as collateralization in terms of receiving money. Now, the problem is, whether you want to say it's on-chain metrics, CZ, Binance's business acumen shine through, and he saw something that nobody else did. And he said, you know what? I think these guys have overextended. I think they're a bit overcommitted, and I definitely know that they're over-leveraged. I think he probably had a dinner with somebody. They get to talking. If you run a crypto exchange, you know where to look. If you run a crypto exchange, it's hard to hide the skeletons in the closet because everybody's playing with the same sacred cows. The problem is CZ Binance gets on Twitter. He just opens his mouth. He says, look, I think you guys are running a 3-card Monty, and I'm letting the cat out of the bag.
Yeah.
I'm talking to a lot of people behind the scenes. You guys had FTX as a collateralization token. We don't think you hold the reserves that you hold. And when CZ Binance tweets, a lot of people start to take notice. Well, enough people try to pull their crypto out of FTX at the same time, and they're noticing, like, I can't really get my crypto out. What's going on? It becomes a bank run, right? 2% of people do that. It's a problem. 15, 20% of an exchange's traffic does that. At worst, most exchanges will shut down, but at least they have the reserve there. When FTX did this and people couldn't get their money out, it was a huge domino effect. Cascading the problem, FTX is now definitely insolvent. The rumor started to circle the drain. It turned out it was true. People are now looking at this like, okay, well, if I can't get my money out, what does this mean? Is Alameda Capital safe? Is Alameda Research safe? Are the things that Alameda Research invested in safe? No, because the whole entire thing was propped up by a token that they created. It's the same thing that Do Kwon had done with his, I forget the gentleman's name, but it's basically like his partner in Terra Luna. They created $1 billion worth of a token, and they were trying to pledge that as collateral before Terra Luna. The whole entire bottom fell out of Terra Luna. So the problem is you got a lot of guys who run crypto exchanges using the same rules that we use in traditional finance. The problem is we're playing with a lot smaller money, so the damage and the fallout is going to be greater.
Wow.
You and I were talking about this earlier today. Well, where's the hemorrhaging at? How far does the exposure go? I think it goes all the way down to everything that Alameda Capital Research is invested in. Because again, keep in mind, Alameda would have fell apart months ago when Three Arrows and when Celsius did, but the only thing that was propping them up was the value of FTT token.
Yep.
So now that we know FTT is a farce right now, well, where does that leave a lot of those guys? We know that Solana is going to have like a 3 billion or so unlocked tomorrow. Well, guess who is one of the biggest stakeholders in Solana? FTX.
Yeah.
So the problem really ensues here, guys. Well, where does the hemorrhaging stop? How big is the fallout? Well, if I'm a lender and I gave FTX money, right? Because they traded FTX token for USDC, Bitcoin, and Ethereum.
Yeah.
I gave them those crypto assets in good faith. I got this FTT. They're going to pay the loan. Everything's going to be fine. Now I'm holding a bag that's essentially worth nothing. So now everything that I have in my coffers, I have to sell because now I have to pay my liquidity partners. It's all this cross collateralization that's going on. It's like we haven't learned anything from the traditional financial sector. So now if I have to sell what's in my coffers to make good so I can pay liquidity partners or I can meet overhead, essentially what that's going to do is going to continuously drive the market down further. On my chart, I had 17K. This is a bit of extenuating circumstances. And if people continue to sell off because they have to be able to meet their financial obligations, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 10 sub 10.
Very possible, right? Very possible.
It's
I never thought
possible.
Yeah, I never thought we were gonna. I kept saying that we were not gonna go lower, right? That the 13K was becoming the 100K equivalent of the bull run, unless some major event happened. And I think this is classifying as that major event, right? Having FTX go down. People thought at first, I thought, well, Binance is gonna step in, it's gonna save them. It won't be as bad, right? They'll be, have a soft landing, like the Fed says. But they got rugged real quick, and they're just gonna, crash and burn. And dude, that's what happens when they keep practicing all this fictional reserve banking,
100%.
Fugazi, right? Because it's not even fractional. It's just it's fictional. It's fictional, dude. It's
Let me say this.
Fugazi money.
Keeper and I, we were talking earlier today. I was in his chat on TikTok. Shout out to everybody that was watching via TikTok. We had the conversation. Well, where exactly does this stop, right? And Keeper, you own a business, so allow me to kind of role play here with you for a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
If you get into hot water and I own a business, and you come to me, you're like, Glenn, hey man, listen, I know you own a business. I want you to consider us for a buyout. And I say, okay, I will entertain the idea of a buyout, but I'll sign a letter of intent that's non-binding. Essentially, what that means is you got to bust that whole entire thing open. I get to see all the skeletons. I get to see your debt obligations. I get to see your assets. If you were not in a tight spot, would you legitimately let me get away with a non-binding letter of intent?
No, heck no. Because I don't need to.
You don't need to.
I don't need
to. So
the
fact that FTX agreed to a non-binding letter of intent, that tells me that you guys were in really deep shit.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Desperate.
That's a really good point.
Dude, they're not even that close of friends. I mean, you literally see, if you saw BitBoy when BitBoy was coming after Sam Bankman-Fried, right? He replied to BitBoy saying, good luck shilling Binance. Instead of saying Binance, he just put Nance, right? He was referring to Binance. So there was already some type of vibe going on there. And that the fact that he called Binance and said, yo, CZ, I'm in trouble, dude. Come check this out. You're right. Like
because they were definitely going back and forth on Twitter, like up to 2 months ago, if not longer than that.
Yeah, and it might have started as, I think the way that I see it anyway is it started as with the central point being greed. I think that Sam Bankman-Fried went from a nobody to having his name trending on Twitter all the time, to being the youngest in the Forbes 30 under 30 or whatever that stupid list is or whatever. Yep. And all of a sudden you have become somebody via a space, which admittedly from him, he doesn't even really believe in. He's a money guy, right? He just wanted to be wealthy, wanted to be rich, right? And so I think
an XRP guy.
Hey, watch it. Let's do it. Listen, Glenn's gonna get in on me too. We're not even going there right now.
You are outnumbered tonight, my friend.
I know I am. But yeah, so I think when things like that come up, you see people's true colors shine. And so what happened? He got overly zealous and he said, okay, well, I've already got all of these things working for me. I've got this capital. Now we're kind of pushing way back. Then he starts donating big money to the Democratic Party, to the Biden administration. A lot of people don't know this, but he was the number 1 or number 2 contributor to the Biden administration. Okay. So now what's that do? Well, that greases the right palms. It says, hey, I'm a player for you. You rub my back, I'll rub yours. And so I think he thought that maybe he was untouchable. You get to the point to where you feel that way. Maybe you do start over leveraging because, well, I mean, listen, I've got more money than I even know what I can't even count the amount of money that I have. The token's never going anywhere, but here's my problem with it. He's 30 years old, 32 years old, 29 years, somewhere in there, right?
He's like 29. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So around 30 years old. I can admit as a business owner at 38, there's a lot that I don't know. Okay. But my dad always taught me one thing in business. If you are the smartest person in your boardroom, you're wrong. You need to have people around you that know more than you do on any given day. And so I have to believe that he has probably been given that advice. Whether he took it or not, I guess we don't know. But my thought process is somebody told him that he was exposed here. Somebody had somebody had to have brought to his attention. His accountant, somebody said, hey, listen, we could have a problem here. You need to pay attention to this. The question then becomes, was he too greedy or too arrogant to take the advice of someone that otherwise, maybe was just an accountant or just somebody that didn't truly understand what it was like to be in his shoes. And I think that it's come back to absolutely crush him.
Well, Crypto Blood, dude,
Blood, don't be doing that, bro.
50 spot,
bro.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Blood.
you,
We
bro.
love you, bro.
Thank you.
Let me ask you guys
this,
this,
there you go. Let's go.
Keep, let me pose this to you. You know, two business owners here is talking, right? Have you ever? How long have you been in business?
We've been in business coming up on 5 years.
5 years, okay. So I started my company a little over a decade ago. I incorporated in 2011, right?
Okay.
Would you agree the hardest or one of the hardest things is like when, you know, there's a point in your business where like you're kind of trekking along, and then you hit a bump where you get to the next level.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
People start talking about you, your name, your reputation starts to precede you everywhere you go. Hey, you did this project, or your name's on that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the hardest things to do is like when everybody is portraying you in this light, it's hard not to start to believe the hype. And one of the things we saw early on from Sam Bankman-Fried was the billionaire. Every article you read, Sam Bankman, the billionaire, the
next
Sam
Warren
Bankman,
Buffett. They literally put it on a magazine. The next Warren Buffett.
So now you start walking around like, maybe I am that dude.
Chest puffed up a little bit more.
Chest puffed out a little bit. Maybe I do need to start playing the game the way these big boys at this level start. The thing you don't have on those guys is they've been here 10, 15, 20, some 35
plus years. Yeah.
Right? They've earned their stripes. You just got here. So I got what it takes to hang out with these guys. Let me start playing the game the way that they play the game. You start believing the air. You start believing the market, and it always comes back to bite you in the ass.
Yeah, but today's What If Wednesday, so I'm gonna throw in the what if here. So what if is right. We're talking about, you know, it could be just as simple as we're talking about. Right? He got arrogant, right? He didn't listen to smarter advisors, right? Yada yada. But what if, right? He did contribute large amounts to the Biden administration. We do know that he's been trying to push regulations that are not crypto friendly, and we know that the entire government is trying to figure out this crypto thing and try to set it back some way somehow to put the Pandora back in the box. What if that was the plan from the beginning? Create this empire, right? Create this massive corporation, get all the attention, get all the eyes on them, and then crash it, right? So that now they can point at FTX, they can point at Sam Bankman-Fried of what they're doing to be able to put in really bad regulations.
What's that conversation look like? Hey, we're gonna push you to the top of the mountain, and then we're gonna push you off. But don't worry, we're gonna make sure you have a soft landing. We'll make sure that you end up leaving with a couple $100 million. You'll be protected. You're not going to prison.
Wow.
Hey, what if, man? What if?
I mean, I like. Okay, so along that same line of thinking, right? Does everybody remember? First of all, everybody here knows who Janet Yellen is. If you don't know who Janet Yellen is, put one in the chat and I'll gladly explain it to you in 10 seconds or less who she is. Right. So when stablecoins a few months ago started to lose their peg again, coming off of the Terra Luna, 3 Hours Capital, all that jazz, right? I thought it was increasingly funny that the next day Janet Yellen was like, we need to have stablecoin regulation. Like, I refuse to sit here and believe that Janet Yellen is that watching everything that's going on in crypto and knows what a stablecoin is. Like, to me, she strikes me as a person that doesn't even really know how to open a PDF with the help of like a millennial or is like, I'm serious, like as a Gen Y, right?
Yeah.
But she was abreast to know everything that was going on in stablecoins. And then it's not just one stablecoin loses its peg. It was like 3 or 4 that lost their peg all at the same time. So now you've got that iron in the fire to say, well, guys, look, we had all these stable coins that lost their peg. Maybe we do, in fact, need to have regulation. Now you have all this shit that's going on with crypto exchanges and borrowing exchanges, if you will. Yeah, this is definitely going to stoke the flames of we need more regulation in the space. And we need to clamp down because look at all these people that are losing money when it's never really about the people. It's just always about control.
No, you know, the funny thing is, I'm glad you said that. The funny thing is about that too, is that the amount of money that has moved out of the crypto markets, I got news for you. It's not retail, right? So yes, there's been retail that's been scared out. It's big money that is moving. And we kind of touched on this earlier today. It's big money moving out. And the funny thing is, it's big money moving out, which would give the idea to retail like big money is actually trying to get out. Hell no. It's big money shorting this market. It's big money saying, you know what? this is a great time for us to take profits. We've been in for long enough now that ultimately this is a way to drive the prices down. We take some profits, we short it on the way down, we scoop up the lower prices, and then boom, we all know that it's going back up into the right long term. This is an opportunity. The way that we talk about for retail, opportunity, these big players, these big hitters, these institutions have the same conversations, just on a much larger scale. This is not like some weird new thing. They just have more money to be able to play the game and be able to play the game well. That's what I think it comes down to, and I think that's happening right now.
Agreed. I mean, they're running the same play that they've ran for decades. It's just that a lot of people who are coming into crypto now, this is the first time that they've seen it, or they've never seen it before. So they think like, oh crap, I'm losing all my money, you know, let me pull out. And I think everybody here on this stream, we're of the mindset where it's like, these are gifts.
Yeah,
for sure. Accumulate.
For sure. And a lot of people don't recognize that. So for the 108 people in the chat, first of all, thank you guys. You could be anywhere tonight. You are here with Debate Crypto. Make sure you give Crypto Glenn a follow over on TikTok. If you're not on TikTok, do your thing. Give him a follow. Crypto Glenn on TikTok.
Smash those likes, guys. Smash those likes.
Smash them.
We need the likes, guys. Ultimately, if we can get anything today, we're not getting crypto prices headed to the, you know, up and to the right. So, you know, at least you can do is just toss a little like in there. But I just wanted to remind everybody, as always, Danger Close Alpha, jump in the Discord, get yourself involved. You have an opportunity to win 5 ETH. Yes, a little bit less USD today with 5 ETH, but long term, 5 ETH, 5 ETH, 5 ETH. So let me ask this. So I'll pose this question to you, Miguel. So let's assume we titled the stream something similar to, you know, Bitcoin going to zero. For those of you that know us, you know better than that. We don't think Bitcoin's going to zero, right? But let's say we see a sub 10K Bitcoin. Let's just play the what if. It's what if Wednesday.
Yeah.
If we see a sub 10K Bitcoin, right? What is the news narrative going to look like around that? Or is that going to be the point where, I guess what I'm asking is a news narrative going to push a sub 10? If we do see sub 10, is it a news narrative pushing it down? Or is it these institutions getting so greedy that they short so hard and run so just so heavy footed to dump the price to be able to accumulate again? What's kind of your thoughts on how we would get there?
Yeah, so I think, first of all, that happening, the media really is going to not really affect retail, right? Retail's out by this point. They're not affecting the crypto market. They've been wrecked already. They've been getting wrecked for months, and now they're definitely whatever was left.
Or they're sitting on their hands.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then people are just waiting for lower levels. So if the narratives that can be spun out there, I think can't really push the price down. I think it's people are numb to the news. I think the news has been bad for so long already. You know, the worst thing that could happen is regulation talk. People getting scared about what regulations are going to look like, exchanges, this and that. But like I said, right, who is that really going to affect? The investors, right? The investors know, right? The people behind Circle, behind USDC, right? The people behind Coinbase, the people behind Binance, they know what's up. They know what's happening. They know when the headlines are fugazi, right? They know that doesn't mean anything. So they're not going to be getting scared about what's happening. So I think the headlines are going to be what is used as the excuse for the prices to keep going down. But in reality, it's going to be, if the prices do go that low, it's just going to be institutional greed shorting the market all the way down, trying to take those profits from their shorts and then reaccumulating at those low levels because they know where crypto is headed in the next couple of years, right? And they saw it happen. They missed the bus, right? They pulled the boat all the way back where if we do reach those 10,000K level, and then they're going to pack their bags. The entire retail market is going to be scared. They're going to be panicked. They panic sold the complete bottom, right? And then they're going to pump it back up when the next bull cycle starts. And then they're going to tell you how safe it is. They're going to tell you how good the regulations are. They're going to tell you how great everything in the crypto space is and how you need it in your 401k and how you need it for your retirement plan and yada, yada, yada. But at that point, we're going to be at all-time highs, right? We're going to be at premium levels. That's when they're going to tell you it's safe. That's when they're going to tell you to get in, right? Just how they did last time when I think it was CNBC or whatever it was telling you to buy XRP at $3.40. How did that play out? Terrible. Terrible.
You always got to go there, bro. Always. You just can't help yourself. You can't help yourself. Glenn, what are your thoughts? So first of all, to get there, how would we get there? And secondly, what does that look like for the people? What does that look like for the average person in crypto?
Yeah, so let me just start by saying I agree. with everything that Crusader said. I would also like to add that you should never discount the effect of a good media catalyst. We've seen what negative media catalysts can do for the price of crypto in a bull run in turn of flipping that over and sending it down to the downside. So by consequence, it works, just as well on the opposite side. But as far as I actually think it'd be a culmination of both, right? The experienced people who are watching, the experienced people who are paying attention to what's going on in the markets right now, they know really not to pay the media too much attention. In fact, I use the media as a trading indicator. I like to do oftentimes the exact opposite of what they say. When they're like, oh, Bitcoin's dead, blah, 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 I'm like, that's a buy signal. And when they're like, oh my gosh, you need crypto, I'm like, all right, that's the sell signal, right? It's the equivalent of like when you're out to eat and the waiter starts telling you about cryptocurrency and what project.
Pick up your phone and start selling.
Like that's a sell signal. Like let's go ahead and get out, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it could be a culmination of the two. What I fear is not really fear, but what I would warn people against is just to know that this has happened before. And it's literally the same playbook that big institutions will run all the time. They won't mind sacrificing some of their own pieces, right, to cause a sell-off. But what you don't know is on the back end, they've got the short positions. So not only are getting, the actual equivalent, right? So if they say, oh, we're going to short Bitcoin, let's put in the shorts, then let's sell off. They're going to get Bitcoin on the back end. Then when it reaches
and leverage it,
turn and leverage it. So I mean, they're getting it from the multiplier, they're getting it from spot, and some of them might even be trading like cash equivalents, right?
Yeah.
So the moral of the story is just don't be fooled. Know it's going to happen, and if you know it's coming, then you can't be taken advantage of.
Yeah. No, 100%. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
People need to remember the U.S. and China are massive Bitcoin whales, and they're accumulating for a reason, right? Dude, I was gonna pull that up right now, dude. This is a great question.
Yeah, great question.
Glenn, why don't you take this? What do you think is going to happen to Solana?
So with the situation that's going on with FTX, I think they're one of the largest holders. I remember they started selling off Solana when they got into trouble over the summer, as quiet as it was kept. They sold positions in Solana because they had to meet, financial obligations. So I don't think that they really have an allegiance to Solana right now. I think with them really being in trouble in terms of not having a buyer to bail them out, with tomorrow's unlock, they are definitely going to be dumping Solana. I would
talk on that. Talk on the unlock, Glenn, because I know a lot of people in the chat are not going to understand what you mean by tomorrow's unlock.
Yeah, so Solana was one of the biggest projects to have like extreme venture capitalists help pushing them forward. And the promise was, it depends on what round you got it in. And if you got it in one of what I'll call the earlier rounds, you were subjugated to a vesting period, which means you can't sell X amount or you can't sell any until date X. Now, once that date comes, and tomorrow, that's going to be the date for some people, depending on where they're at in the vesting schedule. With Solana falling off a cliff, I have a hard time believing. I think they're going to release like either 3 million or 3 billion. I need to go back and check on that. But with that unlock coming tomorrow and Solana having a lot of downward pressure, who's really going to want to sit on a losing bag? You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of people because they probably got it for pennies on the dollar. So they're going to be like, even if it's down to like 26 or 16 or whatever it is, they're still coming out
$14 right now.
It's like $14. So they're still looking at like, I'm coming out on top. Doesn't really matter. So if you hold Solana, I would definitely be mindful of what tomorrow holds. Creeper and I were talking about this earlier. I said, not financial advice, but if it makes sense for you for your investing portfolio and you've done your research, maybe tomorrow's a day to short. Maybe shorting now into tomorrow's unlock is, a solid financial plan. Again, assuming that you've done the research, how many are going to be unlocked and what kind of risk you're walking into. But it's a lot of downward pressure. And I don't know on the heels, what could be the positive catalyst to not make that happen?
Man,
because and I'll be the first person to say, and I don't mean to contradict myself here, but I got to give you guys the steak and the potatoes. I always tend to be a contrarian investor. When the rest of the market thinks that one thing is going to happen, I oftentimes think that the exact opposite is going to happen. And it's actually served me well. I wonder, and I struggle a little bit to think if that same intuition is going to hold true tomorrow. I can't really think of a positive
of a way that it pushes it up.
Right. I can't see that.
Yeah, in the short term, I definitely don't see anything that can hold Solana up, right? But recently they did announce that Google was partnering up with them to run their Solana nodes to become a validator. Circle USDC was partnering up with them to release a Euro stablecoin. But we also heard that I forgot what exchange it was. I think it was Crow or whatever it is, has halted any USDT or USDC stablecoin that are on the Solana network from withdrawals because things are so illiquid right now and things are crashing. So I don't think in the short term those things are going to save Solana from those really low prices. But my question is, I guess what I still don't know is, will it save Solana from hitting zero? Will Solana have a bounce back at some point because of that, or is this going to become the EOS of 2018, right? Like the Ethereum destroyer, the Ethereum killer that didn't make it.
Man, so because Solana was so VC central, right? There was so much venture capital money in Solana, right? You had I'm spacing on his name. He's an Indian gentleman. What is
Shama, whatever,
Palapatia, right?
Yeah, that guy.
Him and all of his crew. I remember. Yeah, he was involved in Facebook. Yes.
Okay.
He was heavy in there, and I remember seeing an interview where he kind of slipped up, I think, during the interview, and basically suggested like, hey, like, don't give away all of our secrets. And I don't think it was actually on purpose. I think he was basically saying, I don't know, maybe you remember this, but he was talking and was basically telling him like, bro, like, you can't talk like that. Like we all, so essentially saying the dinner parties that I talk about a lot. So here's kind of my thought on this. And I think this is where it'll be interesting. So you already know that this getting ready to happen, there had to be phone calls that were being made prior to Solana absolutely falling through the floor, because the people that are in the know, even if they have a 15, 20, 30, 45-minute heads up, you already know that they have people that they are indebted to in some sort of way to make that phone call. And it's not wrong for them to make the phone call because they're not doing anything illegal by doing that, right? Who's the first person I'm going to call if all of a sudden that that Debate Crypto was in trouble and something was going to happen? I'm calling Miguel, right? I'm calling my business partner. So I know that phone calls are going to be happening. So I wonder, with all the phone calls made, a huge part of this cascading effect was the big money that already had, what they could dump. Right now we have the unlock, and is there an agreement in place? Hey, the unlock happens tomorrow, and essentially, let's say the three of us, two of us unlock tomorrow, and one of us doesn't. And I say, hey, listen, tomorrow when this unlock happens, I want you to dump it all, right? Get it absolutely as low as we can, and then as a group, we're going to come back together. We're going to long Solana. We're going to jump in. We're going to scoop. Same idea as what the institutions are doing, but with an agreement between all of the VC money. Now we've been able to make so much money all the way up. We dumped it somewhere up here, made a ton of money. It comes all the way back down. It's literally a rubber band, right? Yep. They're catching it on the way up, making money. On the way down, making money. It's at the bottom, we're scooping up a bunch more, letting it go back up, make money. I think that it's a trash project in terms of staying, even just the network is never like Miguel said, it's the freaking McDonald's, ice cream, the little ice cream machine. It's always down. There's always a problem, but it's incredibly centralized, which tells me that all this VC money, they all talk. They all have the same friend group, right? I could just see there being some sort of a play, is what I should say. Some sort of a play with Solana, and it would very much surprise me to see it actually go to zero. Although we've seen it with other.
So the number on that unlock tomorrow, I was just looking at it here. It's the equivalent of 50.7 million Solana. That's about $940 million.
What's the market cap on Solana right now? It is
that's a good question. Somebody check that.
5.3 billion. 5.3 billion. How much did you say it was?
The cash equivalent is 940 million.
Okay. So it would be essentially almost 20%. It'd be about a 17.5, 18% of the total. Now, people will say, oh, so it can only drop 17%. No. You dump all that onto the market at once, and you're going to have absolute, it's going to be absolute.
At that point, it's simple, it's economic supply and demand. You've got to increase supply. You've got this situation going on with FTX. The demand, may not be there. And then I remember seeing an interview with the top guy over at Solana, and I think it was a gentleman from, I forget the publication, it might have been like the Daily Hodl. They asked him, they said, why does Solana keep crashing? And the reason he gave to that was, and I quote, it's just such an awesome blockchain. Everybody wants to use it.
So that's why it crashed.
That's like, hold on a second. That's like the government telling people that the increased rate of heart attacks over the next 10 years is climate change. Like, come on now. Ain't nobody buying into that.
America's so great and everybody loves living here so much. They're so happy that they have heart attacks.
To your point, Creeper, I saw that. And everybody that I knew that was like a big like Solana individual, I said, you got to get out. Because when a publication asks you a question like that and you cannot give a solid answer, like you give the spacey, you know what, I might have hit one in the car before I got out and, you know, I'm a little, you know what I mean? You give that answer, it's like, you cannot be in charge of people's money, man. Like that's not, that's a dog that doesn't hunt. I'm sorry. Sorry, not
doubt. No doubt. Blood said, I heard during my live stream that SBF went to SoftBank before even going to CZ. That wouldn't surprise me at all. You would think that somebody in that position would try to not go to a friend first. I would think, right? Only for the standpoint of, again, like I said, probably just the, you know, the ego, right? You don't want to go to one of your buddies. You want to at least go to somebody who maybe has no dog in the fight or has no personal relationship with you first. They obviously must have taken a quick look at his books and said, you're gonna have to find a friend to fund that. And CZ officially has said no, correct? I mean, that is that right?
Yeah, officially. He said we took a look at it. They're just it's too far gone. We don't want to import that cancer.
Yeah. It's a wild world of crypto right now. I've talked about it quite a bit. You know, the opportunities, they present themselves, and they present themselves at times that maybe you don't expect it. So I want to encourage everybody. We're not here for financial advice. We're here for entertainment purposes and to discuss what's happening, what we've done, how we react. But I do want to say, when you hear people say, keep dry powder on the sides, right? Keep it on the side. The reason that they say that is because you don't know when this stuff is going to happen. Like, just legitimately, nobody knew that this was about to happen except for maybe the people that were getting the phone calls. And so that is why we talk about keeping dry powder on the side to keep to keep yourself always ready to be able to take advantage of a good never waste a
good crisis. Good crisis go to waste.
That's right. Miguel, what were you laughing at?
I'm laughing at this comment here by Billy. Says, should you buy XRP or Solana? I'm going with XRP. Don't tell Miguel. Dude, look, I probably wouldn't be buying Solana, but I would probably buy FTT.
Did we find one?
XRP.
No, hold on a second. Did we find one? Did we find one? We found a good comparison. So buying XRP before Solana at this point.
I would buy FTT before I buy XRP.
No. That wasn't the question. The question
FTT is worse than Solana.
No, that still wasn't the question. We just want to hear you say that you would be buying XRP.
No, I would be buying Solana before I buy XRP.
Yeah. So I just want to touch on something real quick. So a moment ago, we were talking about the possible desperation, and I'm paying attention to what you guys said here, and I'm paying attention here in the chat. Somebody was definitely, I think it was Billy, he was corroborating and saying, they went to SoftBank. Apparently, they also went to OKCoin before going to Binance. So you were shopping this deal. To at least 3 potential players, and all 3 people said no. The other thing I want to bring to this is, where does this leave people who had money on Voyager? Because up until yesterday, up until today, we were thinking that FTX was going to come in and say Voyager, and people were going to get at least 75% of what they lost back. And now that's like out the window.
Yeah. I don't know. And it's crappy. We have been telling people for, I can't even tell you how long. And Miguel and I have been really diligent about it. Taking our money off of exchanges, right? We keep very minimal amounts of assets on exchanges. And it's basically because it's necessary. Maybe we got a little bit of money on some MetaMask wallet, maybe in a trading account or whatever. But ultimately, we keep stuff off of exchanges. The reason is because the facts are crypto still is the Wild West, and these companies, you are the last person that these companies are genuinely worried about. You're the first person that they are ready to screw over and tell you that it's for a well, never mind, I can't say that one here. They will take advantage of you, Miguel. I was going to use the joke we were talking about the other day. They will take advantage of you and tell you that it's for your own good. Let me just say that. And so I don't know. I'll be really interested.
I'm with Crypto Blood here. Says I would buy Solana at $3,000 at the top before I buy XRP.
When I'm sipping a Mai Tai on the beach from my XRP bags, I mean, I'll think of you guys.
I'll be praying for you and your soul.
Man. Listen,
well, apparently I already sold it. I already sold my soul to the devil. Apparently, according to you, for buying XRP and being involved.
That's right.
I guess I'll just get acquainted.
Enjoy that Mai Tai in that fiery hell.
Crypto fam, we appreciate you guys for being here. It has been a fantastic stream. Make sure to do 2 things. smash the like. Actually, 3.
Smash 'em.
Smash the likes. Make sure to
Smash
do
'em.
that. You got to follow Crypto Glenn. If you're on TikTok, which I'm guessing most of you are, go give. I want Crypto Glenn to get off here and send me a text like, bro, I just got 130 new followers on TikTok. Make sure to give him a follow. Make sure that you are, make sure you're doing that. And then as always, get the Discord. There is no reason that any of y'all are not already in the Discord having the opportunity to win 5 ETH. That competition is going to happen fast. And we are going to, Miguel, we're going to have the next set, the commodities drop is going to be within the next week or 2.
Yep.
Week-ish, something like that. So beans, bullets, and bourbon. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Glenn, thank you very much for coming on, brother. This has been a great stream.
And if I wanna add one more thing that these people need to do. Please pick up a hardware wallet. If there's anything we have seen, I got one out. You already know where I'm at with it. If it's the one thing we've seen over the summer, it's like the exchanges. We like them. They're easy to use. They make us feel good, but they do not have your best interest in mind. And if they go under and they become insolvent, if you read in the fine user details, your assets become pledged collateral. You work too hard to be able to afford crypto to just let it disappear and go on to pay somebody else's bills. Please pick up a hardware wallet.
Be your own bank. That's what crypto was for, right? To be your own bank. They give you this delusion to stay on their exchange, that it's safe there. Oh, it's like a bank. The banks screw you already every single day, right? Same thing can happen on a regular bank. Don't leave your crypto on here knowing that how many times do we need to collapse, right? 3 Arrow Capital, Terra Luna, Celsius, Voyager, FTX, and there's still going to be people that leave their stuff on exchanges and they're going to lose. I mean, guys, come on. Ledger, somebody said in our Discord, it's gonna cost you a lot less to buy a hardware wallet.
I think it was Hazley,
to lose all your money on one of these exchanges.
Yeah, shout out to Hazley. I think Hazley said that, guys. And if you're looking for a way to support the channel, if you've noticed, we don't do a lot of we hardly do any sort of advertising at all. If you're looking for a way to support us, down below is a link for Ledger. I think it gives us somewhere around $8 or $10. It would be greatly appreciated. It takes you straight to the Ledger site. Even if you're not doing that, please, I beg you, do not buy a hardware wallet from anywhere other than the website. You will regret it. You will regret it. So make sure that you do that. Again, that link's down below the video. Follow Crypto Glenn. Jump in the Discord. Smash the like before you go. Crypto fam, we love you guys. We appreciate you for being here. Just remember to question everything.
Trust nothing.
And until next time, hodl.
Hodl like it's hot.
See you.
Like it's hot. We'll see you soon.